Hey, what's going on, chess lovers? This is Maurice Bishop Chess. Y'all know my slogan: life is a game of chess. Alright, guys, in this video, I want to show y'all how to play the fantasy opening, and I'm going to actually use my actual games to actually show y'all my ideas when I play the fantasy opening. So, without further ado, let's actually get started. All right, guys. So this is the one of the other games when I play the fantasy E4, and obviously, guys, the only way you can play the fantasy opening if your opponent plays the Caro-Kann. This is strictly for the Caro-Kann. So E4, C6, D4, D5, and y'all might actually see the Caro-Kann play. A lot of y'all may play this: Knight C3, D captures, Bishop F5, Knight G3, Bishop G6, Knight F3, Knight F6, and then H4. This is kind of like one of those Botvinnik type of style of play when playing the Caro-Kann, and usually he goes knight e5 and all that, h4, h6, and knight e5 and all that. So that's what all this is. But this is not how we're playing the Caro-Kann, guys. We're playing the fantasy. So e4, c6, d4, d5, f3. The whole point of f3, guys, if black takes, we could take back with the f pawn, and eventually we want to develop our pieces as fast as possible so that we could castle kingside, because our target is this f7 pawn. So if d captures e4, f captures e4, e5, and of course, guys, this is a little trick that the Caro-Kann players like to play. They always play e5. The whole point of playing e5, if you decide to take this pawn, you would think that, maybe white would be okay with it. Well, I got a free pawn, so I'm good. No, black is not going to take your queen. He's going to go strictly to queen h4 check. The whole problem is if g3 is played, queen captures e4 check, and then he's hitting the rook on h1. This is the reason why black plays e5. All right. Another option that most players will play if they get in a situation like this, they'll play king e2. But again, even with that, queen captures e4 is still played. So if you think about it, your king's still in the center of the board. Black is going to regain the pawn back on e5, but also it's going to really put white in a bad position. So this is not how we want to play the Caro-Kann. All right. So if they play e5, all we do is just develop with knight f3. If he takes, we go bishop c4. And again, this is pretty much the principle, guys. All we want to do is develop our pieces and then try to hurry up and castle kingside as fast as possible so that we can utilize the rook and the bishop on this f7 pawn. All right. Bishop g4 is played, and this is a blunder on black's part. Because of this move, we have an opportunity to play bishop captures f7. Of course, my opponent plays king captures f7. I go knight e5 check. King e6, because he wants to take, and then queen captures g4. But before I finish this, I do want to go back at something. If bishop captures f7, there might be times where your opponent may play king e7 because he doesn't want to take. If that happens, you can literally just take off this knight. The whole point of this taking a knight off is if black goes rook captures g8, then you instantly wins this queen on bishop g5 check, and you'll win this queen. So just food for thought. All right, so let's get back to it. So bishop captures f7, king captures f7, and then knight e5 check, where I'm checking the king and I'm also attacking the light square bishop. In this case, my opponent in this position decided, well, if you take my bishop, I'm gonna take your knight. Or I could just go knight captures g4. Simple as that. I mean, I don't really know why, but he plays it. But the problem with this move is by him going king e6, we pretty much sink the king deeper into the center of the board. So instead of instead of taking it with the knight, we'll take with the queen, which is what I did. Queen captures g4 check. King captures e5. I go bishop f4 check. Again, guys, he can't go back to king f6 due to bishop g5 check, and we're winning the queen. All right. Yeah, so really the only move that he potentially could do besides the king f6 is take this pawn. By him taking a pawn, is pretty much mate in two. Knight d2 check. The only legal move that black has is to go king d5, and then queen f5 is checkmate. All right, so definitely, guys, remember this line. I get this a lot or whatever, and I'm still getting these people with these lines. All right, so let's go back. E4, C6, D4, D5, F3. D catches E4, F catches E4. If they go E5, we do not take this pawn. We just go knight F3. After he takes, we just develop with bishop C4, bishop G4, and then of course, guys, this is where we hit him with bishop catches F7 check. He takes, knight E5 check, king E6, queen catches G4 check, E5, bishop F4 check, king catches E4, knight D2, king D5, and queen F5 is checkmate. All right. So here is the second game of the Caro-Kann, which is the fantasy opening. This is a nice one. It's a little bit longer, but definitely a nice one. C6, D4, D5, F3, D catches E4, F catches E4, then E5. Of course, guys, we do not take. What do? We go knight F3. Bishop G4. Now we go bishop C4, and now we're threatening bishop captures F7, guys. So that's the reason why my opponent actually take off the knight. So now we just go queen captures F3. We're threatening, you know, the old fool's mate, pretty type of thing, right? So he defends with queen e7. So what do? We castle kingside, because that is the principle. We castle kingside. And the reason for castle kingside, because now we're hitting this f7 pawn 3 times with the bishop, the queen, and the rook. All right, so he goes with f6. Now, this is the thing, guys. Keep this in mind. If they go f6 or whatever, you want to go queen b3. The whole point of queen b3, because this knight has nowhere else to go but knight a6. But also, guys, with this move with queen b3, we're actually hitting this knight, and we're threatened to win a piece. So, which is why a lot of times your opponent may miss it. They may go b5, but then we'll just win this knight on g8. But if they do see that, most likely they're going to go knight a6. If they go knight a6, we'll just go bishop captures a6. G captures a6. D catches e5. And then the thing about this, guys, if you gotta think, if F captures e5, you know, this is pretty much not really good for black at this moment, because after king d8, we could go bishop e6, and then of course the rook is coming to f7. It's coming to f7, and it's nothing that black could do about this position at all. F7 is coming in the game, and this game is literally over, especially after knight c3 and rook d1. This is pretty much an over game. This game is over. All right, so that's the reason why you don't want to. That's the reason why this pawn wasn't taken. Not, at least not with the f pawn. If for some reason queen captures e5, then we do have queen captures b7. We're threatening the rook on a8. You know, we're doing a lot of things. If for some reason the queen decides to try to win a piece, or you know, win the bishop, we can easily just go king h1. If he goes queen captures c4, hitting the rook, then we'll just go rook captures f6. It's not a problem at all. The king is still in the center of the board. I mean, black is really having a lot of problems now. You know, even after let's say this. Let's say black decides to, hey, I want to be greedy and everything. Well, all we would do would just go knight c3. We just develop. You know, once you do that, again, it's not like these two pieces are developed. So it's almost like you're up a piece, pretty much. You know, but yeah, this game will pretty much be over. All right. And as you see, we got a 10 plus, a plus 10.4, which is crazy. That's if I think if the queen goes d3, yeah, rook d1, yeah. So, and even after this, it's really nothing he could do. So he literally would have to give up the queen. Because if you don't give up the queen, like for instance, if you go queen c4, after queen c8 check, king e7, and then queen d8 is checkmate. So this is just a nasty. This is just nasty, guys. All right, so let's go back so we can finish up. All right, so So like I said, a lot of things can go wrong when black take this pawn. So let's look at something. So obviously my opponent saw this, which is why he goes knight d7, and I just go e catchers f6. Knight catches f6, and then bishop e6. Why we go bishop e6? Because we want to prevent black from castling queenside, but also we're pretty much cramping up white's position, or we're cramping up black's position. All right. In this position, my opponent goes rook d8. He goes rook d8, and then I go knight c3. Honestly, the best move would have been maybe e5. E5 would have been maybe better, a better choice. But in this case, guys, I actually went knight c3 in this position. Bishop g7 is played, and then I immediately threw in the e5 pawn, attacking the knight on f6. Knight d5, bishop f7 check. He actually goes queen catchers f7 because obviously, guys, he's just really stuck in this position. But also, guys, he probably did it because he saw that if he goes king d7, he knows he's going to get hit with queen captures b7 with a check. And if knight c7, then we have rook f d1, which is check. And obviously, guys, the only way he could really stop it is if he goes rook d or queen d6. But then after rook captures d6 check, king e7, queen captures c7 check. Again, guys, this is just pretty much over after this. Yeah, this is just over. So that's the reason why my opponent plays. He plays the queen captures f7, so I go rook captures f7. He takes, I go knight captures d5, rook f1, king e6, queen h3 check, king e7, queen h4 check, king d7, rook f7 check, king c8, and then obviously, guys, this is pretty much over. My opponent just pretty much played rook e8, but I just made him on b7. All right. So yeah, so that's some little Caro-Kann tricks. If I could move these pieces, that would be so awesome if I can do it. There's another one, guys, that been playing a lot of knight f3. Yeah, e catches d4, bishop c4. I see this a lot. Knight f6. E5, knight d5, I castle, bishop c5, and then I go knight g5. So this is another trick as well, because I'm hitting knight catches f7. A lot of times black plays castle kingside, and I immediately just go queen h5. If h6 is played, I know the engine always says knight e4, which is supposed to be the correct move. But guys, to be honest with you, I've been playing knight catchers f7 a lot. I've been doing this a lot. The whole point of this, guys, if queen e8 or whatever, which I get a lot. If queen e8, I usually just go knight captures a6. If he takes, then I go rook captures f8 check, queen captures, and then I go bishop d3. And I don't know why. I really don't know why, guys. But a lot of times when I play these type of moves, especially like knight d, or when I play these moves like bishop d3, I always get everybody always playing either knight d7 or they're playing bishop e6. Because they always get in some type of uncomfortable position. But yeah, even after bishop d3 and knight d6, I usually always hit them with bishop catchers h6. And if queen e7, I usually just go queen g6, king h8, and then queen h5. And the whole point of queen h5 is I'm threatening bishop f8. So like if he does something like b5, I have the bishop f8 check with a discovered check, and then I'm hitting the queen. However, a lot of times what I do, I want to take this back a little bit. So after bishop captures a6, queen e7, a lot of times, guys, Yeah, because I think this is the one I normally play a lot. Queen G6, King H8, Queen H5, and then King G8 is usually what's played. And a lot of times I will play Knight D2, you know, usually just to get the rook over, and I'm pretty much winning. All right. Uh, it's just crazy, guys. It's just so much stuff with the fantasy opening. It's absolutely ridiculous, guys. But literally one of my games that I played, literally the exact game after rook catches f8, and I go bishop d3. I actually had my opponent play knight d7. I actually played bishop captures a6. My opponent had played something like queen f7, which is what he was trying to do because he was trying to, I guess he was trying to like exchange or whatever, but I didn't allow him to exchange, so I just went queen g5 check, and after king h8, I literally just hit him with e6. And when he took, I got him in mate, which was pretty funny. But after e6, what else could he have done? He could have played queen e7, something that he could have did maybe. But of course, once I take and I take, then I just pretty much get that piece back with that. So, but yeah, now you're pretty much playing chess or whatever. But with that e6 move, I pretty much won. So but yeah, guys, something to think about. Definitely something to think about. I do have some games, analysis games where I beat a international master playing the Caro-Kann or whatever. So I beat him with the fantasy. So I would definitely put that in the what you call it, the playlist or one of those end notes or whatever. Y'all will be able to see that game as well. All right. So again, guys, I hope you actually enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, share, comment. Let me know what you think. And also, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, guys. Peace.